again. All right, good morning. Thank you guys for all being on time and being here. Let me do a share screen. Today we're going to be talking about social media. And then next month, we're going to focus in on video. And so today we'll touch on that today, but then next month we're going to spend, because the video class is pretty in depth. So I want to make sure we cover everything we need to cover in that class. So we'll be spending a couple Tuesdays on that, going through what the video is and why the importance of that. So today though, we're going to focus in on social media and the do's and don'ts, how to build your brand and your audience. And then also when's the right time to be posting? That's always a big question. And which platforms should I be using? I was talking to someone yesterday and they're like, well, there's a new one out and we've got TikTok and we've got Facebook and Instagram and all this stuff. And so we're going to talk about that and find out what are the most important platforms that you guys should be using. And so to that point, some of it, I'm going to share with you the top platforms, but I also want to make a point that depending on who your target audience is, that might change for you, right? And also who's your particular audience, and where are your people at, right? And so depending, I'm in my mid-40s, so my people are on Facebook, right? But my nephews, they're on YouTube, like they live on YouTube and they're on Snapchat and TikTok. And so if I wanted to reach that younger demographic, I'd have to change my platform, right? I got to go where those people are. One of our favorite quotes is Wayne Gretzky, who said that what made him great at being a hockey player was that he skated to where the puck was going, not where it had been. And so we need to make it easy for our people to find us and for them to connect with us. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the materials. And I don't know the person that just came in. If you could put your email in the chat, that would be great. Oh, we got another person jumping in. Okay. All right. And if you're coming in late, I will definitely get you the class materials after we are done here. Not late, you're 1 minute after, but past everybody else. I'm going to go ahead and move you guys over here. Okay, so today we want to talk about what's a proven strategy, right, for effectively utilizing social media. Social media is not going away, and I know some of us, I have a love-hate with it, right? But then, there's other things that are great about it, right? I mean, because you can get business from it. I just had a lady reach out to me. I've only ever met her once, but we've got people in common in our spheres. And she had put a post out that said, what's the best way to sell a house out of state? And I commented and said, hire a good realtor. And within a couple hours, I had a private message from her saying, hey, who do you know in Colorado that you could refer to me? And so just as simple as that, right? I don't know if the connection is going to happen, but if it does, that's a nice referral back to me. And if you guys know the average prices in the Denver market, houses are pretty expensive. So it'll be a nice referral if that happens. So the expectation today is we want you to feel comfortable and confident to implement your social media best practices and strategies. I think that we tend to overthink it. We want to make it more complicated than we really need it to be. It is social media, right? So we want to have some fun with that. And then the result is we want to build your brand, provide value. And then, of course, the end result is generating more business. So what's our plan? So we have prospects, right? So our farming and social media. Today, we're not going to talk about farming. We're just specifically talking about social media. That obviously is to generate new business, right? And we want to convert those buyers and sellers into actual leads. And then having a good client care system where you put all of your people. I know we're getting ready to come out with a new product with Remax, but if you're using Booge, continue using Booge. I'm assuming we're going to have a nice transition with that when that happens. But if you're not using Booge, definitely have some kind of a CRM. It shouldn't be up here in your head. It shouldn't be a spreadsheet. It should be something that's in a system. And then marketing. So we're going to talk about what should I be posting. I'm going to give you a bunch of content to be posting for your social media platforms. And so I'm going to give you some ideas, but I definitely would encourage you guys to go to remaxhustle.com, bookmark that. There's a ton of great content that you guys can get really quickly. They've got videos that you can push out. You can make some custom videos, which gets a little bit more advanced, but they do have the simple ones. There's, doormats, there's infographics, there's all kinds of cool stuff. There's also a Facebook group called Remax Collaborative Share or something like that. If you just type in collaborative share, it should pop up, and that they post a lot of great content as well that's out there for you to use. If you haven't liked the company page, definitely do that, and also join the inner circle, the Remax Professionals inner circle. Orlando pushes out content every week for you guys on interest rates and different things that you guys can use to push out to your social media as well. So, bookmark those places so that you don't have to think, today, what's the content I'm going to put out? So the importance, right? So I love the quote here is that we don't have a choice whether we do social media. The question is how well we do it. It's not going away, right? Who would have ever thought that the word post would become such an important word, right, in our lives? So we want to utilize social media to grow your real estate business. So why, right? So we want to increase our outreach, have quick engagement, advertising. We can advertise ourselves, our listings, all kinds of things. Opportunities to grow our business and then reinforce your brand. Want to enhance your networking opportunities and, of course, elevate our lead generation. I personally think that every time there's a price reduction that happens in the MLS, that's an opportunity for us to be talking about. That's an opportunity for us to be talking and telling the world about the opportunities that are available, right? We've seen so many people kind of swing to the other side going, oh my gosh, the more inventory, nobody's going to want to buy, the interest rates have gone up, and it simply isn't true, right? And so every time there's a price reduction, go to the new homes, right? Find out this information that's out there and shout it from the rooftops, because there are some tremendous things that are happening that are opportunities buyers didn't have 6 months ago. So let's shift gears a minute. So your thoughts matter. And so if we think that social media sucks, right, and that, whatever our thoughts are around it, whatever those are, then, we're going to struggle with it. So we need to think about it in a different way. So we might think that it's not worth the investment. We might think it's a fad, which it's not. And then it's not where my audience is. And I would challenge you to say that, yes, it is. Everybody's got some form of social media, not everyone, but 99.9% have some form of social media that they're out there doing. And the thing about social media, you guys, is that you meet someone new and you connect with them, you can learn so much about them with just stalking their Facebook page. 20 years ago, prior to Facebook, it would take you years to find out that maybe your dogs had the same name, right? Or you had mutual friends in common. Now you can go to someone's page and see, hey, who's this person? How do you know them, right? And so social media gives us a really quick way to connect with people and learn a lot about them. So let's think I didn't mean to advance that far. So I just want to take a second here, and I'm going to stop share so we can have you guys back up on the screen. What are some thoughts that we have? What do we think about social media? And you guys can be honest. Do you think it sucks? Do you love it? Do you find it stressful? So kind of give me some thoughts there.
I love it because, I can stay in contact with people all over the United States. My family that doesn't live here, I share pictures of my grandkids, my dogs, all those things. And I do have to say the 30-day challenge that you challenged me to do was really good, because I actually learned how to use some different programs that I hadn't used before, like Photify and Canva and some of those things. So
Photify. Thank you, Jen, for bringing that up. I spaced on Photify. Photify is a great tool too, and it's super cheap. And I think you get like 90 days for free to try it out. And there's a lot of really great content in there that's just super easy to grab out and push out onto your social media. So yeah, I challenged a few people to do a 30-day posts on Facebook, and a team that I coach out of Ohio, they've had tremendous results from it. And, they've just all been having a lot of fun, and it's fun for me to see them continuing doing it, right? So continue, because they've had such good results. And so everything that you're doing at every moment of the day, there's something you could spin it, even right now, take a screenshot and say, I'm taking a class today, learning something, right? And so there's all kinds of things that we can do. So just every day be thinking, like, what can I post? So what are some other thoughts about social media? Go ahead.
As a new agent, I feel like social media has been kind of helping me get out there and let a lot of people know that I am an agent now. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of people just contact me and ask me questions.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, Janae.
Yeah, I love social media. I have a couple different platforms. For me, it's really great because I'm from Washington and we just moved here 3 years ago, but I was in real estate there. And so I still have a lot of connections back in Washington I have one friend, he's in real estate, and he currently bought a house here as an Airbnb and is going to be looking for another one.
Nice.
And a lot of people, from Washington like to be snowbirds and come down here. It's easy to just stay engaged and stay front of mind and letting my connections back there know, hey, if you're looking for something here, like I'm in the process of getting my license, and I just posted that I think on Friday, and just like everybody's cheering you on, and you know, you're staying front of mind and sharing, like I share pictures with my kids and all of that just to stay connected with people. And it just shows that you're not just business, that you're also can be like personable and sharing like a personal side of your life as well. So people know you're not just a salesperson essentially.
Yep. I love that. Okay. Any negative thoughts about social media? Y'all have been positive so far. Any negatives?
I think when I did the 30 days, I felt like I was like, I don't know, just bombing them with my putting it out there so many times. But I do think, like somebody just mentioned, that it does help people remember that you are a realtor. You know, you're really getting that message across. So, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I had to overcome the fact that I felt like I was doing it too much. You know, I don't know. I just didn't feel natural. But after I did it, I was glad I did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you got to remember too, is that the algorithms, right? We don't always see stuff every day that you're posting, right? Unless I'm super engaged with you, something could go by a couple of days and I'm not going to see it. Right. So a couple of tips on that. So, and we're going to go back to the slides, but always have a call to action. Right. Heather and I were messaging the other day about some shit. This great post. I was like, have a call to action. So what do I mean by that? What do you want this person to do as a result of seeing your post? Right. What do I want them to do? Do I want them to message me? Do I want them to, you know, ask for more? Right. So always have that. Think about what's the call to action. And then also, what was the other thing I was going to say? I'm totally drawing a blank. I don't remember. Oh, no, now I do. Sorry. Having a blonde moment. When someone comments, don't go right away and comment again. You want to always acknowledge the comment, right? But wait a little bit, because if someone comments and you wait 2 hours, that refreshes. If you wait 4 hours, right, you wait a day, it refreshes in the search. And so now you get more longevity with that post, especially if it's something that's got high engagement, you know, where a lot of people are commenting on it. So if you wait, then it refreshes. And I'm sure you've all seen where something shows up. This was posted 3 days ago. Why is it showing up in my feed again? That's why, because someone's continuing to comment. So a little trick there to squeeze the orange on posts, especially the ones that get real high engagement. And just to share a little personal story, today is the day 7 years ago, my little dog got attacked, and I put it out on social media, and the response that I got was so tremendous. And one of my friends actually set up a GoFundMe, and people were donating money to help me pay my medical bills with the dog. And it was just it kind of takes my breath away, because it was a really, really traumatic experience. Cindy was here. She remembers that day happening for me. So, and just all the comments and things that were being put out there. So, you know, we can look at social media negatively, right, and think about the trolls and all the stuff out there, but we can also use it in a real positive way as well. So, so I would challenge you guys to, you know, think about your own mindset, right? Do you have any limited thoughts about that? And then work through it, right, and change our perspective with that. Good morning, Cindy. All right, so let's go ahead.
Sarah, can I add one more negative, and maybe it would be something that you could touch on real quick?
Okay.
Just like the negative comments that you get back. Like I'm in several different groups, and people post their listings, and just I've noticed massive amounts of comments, dogging pricing or quality of the home or the area, and it's just very negative feedback more than positive, what I've noticed in groups, and how maybe to combat that.
Yeah, that's a good, let me do a stop share so I can see you guys. That's a good one, because there are a lot of people out there, and I love when people start going off about stuff like that, because their perspective is just, it can affect us, right? So how would you handle that? I guess maybe, you know, fight fire with fire and kindness, right? Maybe coming up with something that's, you know, a way to spin that, you know, well, that's an interesting perspective. Thank you for your thoughts on that. Cindy,
who's, I mean, is this going out to strangers? Because I would think that your friends would not be nasty.
So no, it's in a group. So she's in a group of like realtors, and they share a listing, and those realtors all pile on the listing agent to say, you know, it sucks, it's overpriced. So it's a group. So I would
fire him.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's not a realtor group. It's like a community group. Like I live in Goodyear, and like one of them is in like the Goodyear group, and they'll post listings for like Buckeye, Verado, or things like that. And it's the community members who are coming in, not realtors on realtors.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
definitely not.
respond back with, I understand your concern. Why don't you give me a call and we can talk about it?
Yep.
The more
Yeah.
you never want to respond negatively. The more people comment on a post, the more the post is promoted. So even those people that are commented negative, what they don't realize is they're help promoting the post.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
So
And I agree with
I would
James.
respond, why don't you give me a call and I'll explain the pricing and the marketing. Matter of fact, I can tell you how much your house is worth today if you'd like, for free.
There you go. Yeah. Spin it around, with kindness and professionalism. And sometimes, if someone's really nasty, sometimes it's just best to not even say anything, just leave it alone. Because if it starts to be a firestorm, you want to be careful with that too. So, and I would just check your gut, right? What does your gut say? Do I need to respond to this or do I just need to leave it alone? So, and sometimes, those community groups, man, they can be vicious.
But don't let them people get to your head. Don't let them own that space in your head.
Absolutely. Agreed.
They don't deserve it.
Agreed. Okay.
What do you think when it comes? I know what I think, but I just want to put it out there. Like I put a thing out about all the good things about living in Arizona, and I got this terrible comment back that was very political. So I just I mean, it could have been something I might have even agreed with, but I just left it alone. I just ignored it. It was very, very controversial, and I just figured, just let it be, and it didn't blow up. It just went away.
You can delete those too, Sandra. So if someone comments something like that, you can delete it so that other people don't see it. I've done that many times when people get political and stuff. I just delete it.
The other people know that they're trolls anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They get it.
Yeah. But you guys, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I want to get back to the slides, and I have a hard stop because I got a coaching call right behind you. But there was a realtor in the Kansas market during the last election who actually he commented on something and it got really out of control, and he basically ended up being told he was a racist and yada yada yada. His family had death threats, the brokerage got death threats. They actually had to kind of disappear for a little bit. So we do need to be mindful that there are those trolls out there that are not good. And so just, again, use your gut and, don't engage, because the more that they actually engaged and tried to fix it, the worse it got.
The worse it got,
yeah, the worse it got.
Thought,
yeah. So, and just delete it, right? And if you get to the point where you've got people like that in your life, you can unfollow them or unfriend them, right? It's your social media.
Yeah.
So just be careful. Be careful what I didn't mean to do that. Be careful what you're commenting on, because sometimes you don't know. So, all right. So social media. So why do we want to post? So to generate more business, right? To have more conversations. And then where do we want to post? So we're going to talk about that too. What are the top platforms? All right. So how do we post? So we want to talk about what's getting the best engagement, right? What's the content that people want to see? And then we want to enhance our brand, right? What is your brand? Provide value to targeted audiences, and then build your reputation as a trusted local expert. So content should be posted with a consistent cadency, and I'm going to give you guys a sample of that as well. So identifying your target audience. So we want to be careful that we're not, discriminating, creating any challenges with our target audience on our protected classes, right? And Facebook has actually had to change some of the way that we can advertise because they got in some hot water with that. So your social media target audience is created by identifying the people you want to appeal to, right? So again, demographically, right? Who is that? Is it a young demographic that's got family and kids growing and that kind of thing? Are they a niche market where there are second home people that are coming here to have a second home or retirement as well, right? Are they move up? Are they first time? So we want to figure out what that target is. Who are we going to go after as far as our messaging is concerned? And we talk a lot about top 50. So when we look at our top 50, what does your top 50 want to get from you? Right? What do they need from you as far as seeing that the engagement and the type of information you're pushing out there? So, we want to make sure we're not being boring, right? Because if you're just pushing out either real estate stats or why you're the best, that starts to get, you're going to turn people off, right? So have some fun with it. There was a lady that this was during the lockdown, so 2 years ago, and this is still going around. She had fallen while showing a house, and she got on her video and she was in her car and she's laughing and like crying. She's laughing so hard. And so then it makes you laugh because it's hysterical. And if you've ever, show enough houses, something stupid's going to happen to you. And, making fun of that and just having some fun with it. And it went viral. So, so just think about having fun with it. There's a lot of things that we do in this job that are not glamorous, right? So could we have some fun with those things? So we want to identify the target audience, right? So create content that's relevant. What do they need from you? Understand how to create content, and then connecting with the audience via your social media platforms. So, and again, your audience can and will change, right? As we age and, we meet different people, we grow different areas, maybe we start a farm, etc. So our audience can change. So in the materials, you're going to see these questions here, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but these are the questions you want to ask yourself to help you identify who your target audience is. Okay. And again, what platforms are they on, right? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Instagram? Where are they at? So understanding the different platforms. Okay. So years ago, it used to be like, oh, Cindy, you got to have all of them, right? Go be on LinkedIn, be on Facebook, blah, right? I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that one, where's your target? So if the majority of your people are on Facebook, then be on Facebook. I also think that when we try to run all of them, we just become mediocre. And so I think it's a better plan to take one and master it, right? And then add in if we need to. Okay. So LinkedIn's a great way to connect with people as far as referral business is concerned. People will, especially business people, the first thing they'll do is Google you, and that they'll look at your profile on LinkedIn. Facebook is probably, the main one. And then we have Instagram, you have Twitter, which Twitter is more of kind of a fast news feed. You have YouTube, which is your video platform, which is owned by Google. And then Pinterest, Pinterest started out just as a way for people to exchange recipes and decorating ideas. And now it's become a really popular platform. And then you have Snapchat, which I tried to join Snapchat, and my stepson told me I couldn't. So, so those are the different platforms that are out there. So the top ones, right? Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Okay, these are the top places that we want to be active at. Okay, and it's ever evolving, right? When these materials were made, TikTok wasn't a thing, and so maybe TikTok is your jam, right? With the video content. And like I said, we're going to spend next month talking about video. Okay, so you do have some resources as mentioned. Obviously have, on remax.net, there's some best practices there. I'm not going to get into all these. I think majority of us on the Zoom today know what the different platforms are. Let's see. Oh, one thing on Snapchat, I do want to point out, just in case you don't know this, your photos disappear after 24 hours. So they disappear and go away, kind of like a James Bond movie. So understanding the different platforms. So again, where's my audience? Which of these platforms will return the largest investment of my time and my money? Now, Facebook is the one that you're going to boost, ads on. And we're not going to get into that today because it's a whole other advanced conversation, but you can spend money to boost your posts that gets seen to a different audience. So building your brand. So real estate's unique, right? You are your brand. And so what are the must-haves of creating a personal brand? It's got to be authentic, right? It has to be you, right? Showing up as you. It needs to be a reflection of what you do. So if you're a first-time home buyer, helper, second homes, etc., what is that niche that if you are working a niche, and that it has to amplify what you believe. And then it must be a thoughtful display of your ideals. So your personality, your core values, who you are. I'm always challenged when I see people saying, well, I'm going to wait till the market crashes or the interest rate, whatever, right? And so I think, sharing that stuff and pointing out some of the facts, right? There's a website called Keep Being Matters Current that posts a lot of really great content that is about the market and about trends and the economics of things, and they dumb it down so that it's easy for us to understand, but also easy for us to explain it to our clients. So I would encourage you guys to bookmark that one as well. You can sign up and have a custom page for yourself. It's super cheap, but you don't have to be able to push the content out. So, making sure that we're being authentic, right? It's you, right? You coming through, because people want to connect with that, right? They want to connect and feel like they have something in common with you. Building your brand. So how do you see yourself? What's your vision? What's your values, right? What do you do and say? What's your knowledge and expertise? For those of you who are brand new, lean in on the company stuff, right? Lean in on what, the statistics that we can provide you, how others see you, right? This is the opinion or reputation, how other people view you. What's your perceived value to them? And then how do they feel when they're interacting with you? Do they feel good about that? Do they feel like they can trust you? And that's the components of good sales, right? Is they know you, they like you, and they trust you, right? And the fourth is that you'll do a good job, right? You know what you're doing. So creating content. So we want to think about things that, how do I increase awareness, right? So what's awareness? Price reductions, new home opportunities, things like that, that create, letting people know, most of you on this call don't know what a 2-1 buy down is, right? Don't know that we can, we can actually negotiate repairs, right? We can ask for concessions. And so getting familiar with that and finding unique ways to message that. And so instead of saying, a 2-1 buy down, how about saying, ask me about the interest rate reduction program, right? It's a cool way to say it. And it kind of changes the way people go, oh, what is that? Right? It's a buy down program that you talk to your lender about, but it's a unique way to say things. So I think we really have to be careful, not careful, but mindful of how we're messaging things. And so we tend to get on our platforms and, shout from the rooftops, there's no inventory, the interest rates, all this stuff. And I think we have to just be really careful that we don't spin that in a negative way, but we stop and say, okay, it's always a good time to be a homeowner, right? So we want to increase engagement, drive traffic to your websites, and then create and find clients. And so I love doing like the love it or hate it. So if you're out and about, right, and you're previewing or you go to a new home, take a picture of the kitchen, put it out there and say, hey, do you like this? Better yet, go live, right? Or create a video and push that out and do like a little tour of the model home. You don't want to give away where it's at or who the builder is, because you don't want them going there by yourself without you. But those are things that you can do that can increase your engagement. And also funny ones, funny ones that are not disparaging, right? So funny, but not negative about the market. There was one that was floating around last summer that was the big house and the little house. And it said the year that this house was worth 200 grand. And then this year it was worth 400 grand. And it was a very disparaging, in my opinion, it was very disparaging. And so I don't like negative stuff like that. We definitely want to make sure that we're always being champions of homeownership. So identifying your target, we talked about that. Identifying what do they need, right? How will you be of value? And then the posts, we want to be relevant, irresistible, and irreplaceable. So thinking about that, can they get it somewhere else, or are you the only place they're going to get it from, right? And then so relevant, so something that they need, it's meaningful and appropriate. Irresistible is something that they want, it's enticing and appealing. And then irreplaceable, they can't get it anywhere else. It's rare and unique to you. So examples of value-driven content. So your listings, right? When you take a new listing, and on your Max Center, within a couple hours of taking a listing, you guys will get a link that has a standalone website link that you can push out. There's also a flyer, a postcard, and a thing you can push out on YouTube. So you can also go into Remax Hustle and create a little video about that new listing that you have too. Buyer's guides, seller's guides, relocation, neighborhood information, tours of homes, anything that has to do with staging, increasing their curb appeal, all of these different things that are on here. And of course, success stories, client testimonials, milestones. Our company is really awesome about creating content for you guys on your anniversaries. If you make the top 10, those are all things to share out. And then any of your community involvement. So we're just wrapping up the month of miracles. So those of you who are a part of that, shout it from the rooftops, let people know what your involvement is. So when we talk about client testimonials, be really careful that we don't, and of course the market's shifted, right? But I see agents doing, oh, this house sold above asking in one day. Well, what's the messaging there? The message is that the market's hot. So that puts me off as a buyer, right? Because I don't want to get involved in that. To a seller, I don't need to pay a realtor. I can just whisper in a Starbucks and my house will sell, right? And so we need to make sure that we're being careful with that. Instead, this house has a story, and talk about the process of that. So I just closed on my sister-in-law's house yesterday. And so I took a cute picture of them standing outside the house. So I'm going to, this is the story, right? We got a VA loan accepted and $5,000 in concession, right? That would not have happened 6 months ago. So you want to tell the story around that causes someone to say, gee, I really like the way that, they handled this, and I can get on, maybe I can get in on the game of being a homeowner. Or if I'm a seller, right? Oh, look what this person's doing to help sell their homes. And so you want to think about the message. And then again, what's the call to action? What do I want this person to do as a result of seeing this post? So reasons to use video. So again, we're spend a whole couple weeks on video starting next month. So it humanizes you, right? It makes a connection with people. Makes you relatable, right? And creates credibility. And it's your character, your expertise, and your knowledge. And then we deliver our experience that stands out, and it strengthens your relationships and also builds new ones. And so I get it. Video is not fun. It's a little bit uncomfortable and a little intimidating. So come to the classes next month, and hopefully we can help you overcome that and build your confidence. So utilizing the days. Okay, so again, this is in the materials, you guys. So if you have that in there, that will remind you, so you don't have to remember it necessarily from here. But Facebook, any day of the week at 11 a.m. Instagram is Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays, but 11 a.m. and then Tuesdays at 2 p.m. LinkedIn is 3 p.m. On Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Thursday, and between 9 and 10, and then Fridays between 11 and 12. So this stuff changes, right? And you also want to pay attention to, after you start getting good posts on your, and this would be on your, I would say both business and personal, but on your business pages, you can actually track and see when is the high activity on your page. And so you would want to adjust this once you start having some posts and you start seeing that activity. You want to track that and then make modifications based on when your page is getting the most traffic and activity. But as far as personal pages, I think this is a great tool, right, and guide for us to know when we should be posting. All right, so Cadence. So Facebook, at least 3 times, once a day is optimal. So again, Jan took the challenge to do it for 30 days, and don't worry, you're not fatiguing your audience. Instagram, at least once a day, but not more than 3 times a day. And then LinkedIn twice a week, but not more than once per business day. And so, LinkedIn is again, kind of more of that business networking place. So the frequency could change, right? Must be determined by your own strategic tracking, which just like any momentum class, you're going to get a tracker at the end of the materials to help you track your social media. So continuing on, so set it and forget it. On Facebook, you can actually connect Facebook and Instagram so that if you post on either of those, it will share to both. And you can, on your business pages, you can do scheduling. So you can do that. You can't do it on personal pages. And, unfortunately with Facebook, your personal pages are the ones that get the most interaction versus the business pages. It's just the reality of it. And to my knowledge, I don't know of there's probably tools out there that you can buy that you can schedule stuff to. I'm not personally a big fan of those because I don't feel like the audience feels like they're organic. So I would rather be just in the moment to do it. But you could sit down and go through and create a calendar. And in fact, I have a calendar I can show you guys. And if you want it, I'm happy to send it to you. Workman just posted it yesterday. And it's just basically tips for every day of what you could post out. So I'll send that to you guys. Let me just make a note, email. It's pretty cool because it kind of takes away us having to think about it. All right, so here you go. Here's your, getting the materials. Let me move this over so you can see. So here would be your sample days, right? So when you would post for each of these different social media outlets. And again, be where you are. Maybe you're not on Snapchat or Pinterest. I'm not on either of those. I'm not on Instagram either, just Facebook and LinkedIn. So, but find your jam, right? What's going to be you where your audience is going to be, and that you can let your voice be heard, right? Let people know who you are. All right, so what gets measured gets done. So we want to track things like how many likes did I get? Did I have any shares? Shares are kind of the golden thing in social media if someone shares your post. I did a post back when Zillow announced their big loss, and I did a post about it, and it got shared a whole bunch of times. Like a bunch of realtors shared it, which was kind of cool. So because they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to share it to my pages. So likes and shares, your audience growth, right? Am I getting new people? And this would be on business pages. Am I getting new followers? Followers versus following, right? So is someone following you, or a follower? Your advocates or fans and again, this is on business pages. If someone starts liking your stuff, they'll get a little notification that they're now a top fan. And so you could have some fun with that. I have a team I coach that they actually give out prizes and shout outs to the people that are their top fans on their social media. again, on the business page. You have organic versus paid. Again, we're not going to talk about the paid stuff today. And then clicks per post. Again, that's talking about paid boosted ads or boosted posts. So then do we get any leads, right? Did I get any traffic to my website as a result of the post that I did? And then audience mentions. So this is someone commenting and tagging you on that. And then if you are spending money on ads, what's the return on investment? And social media can be kind of hard to quantify the return on investment, just because of the way, it's cheap advertising. So yeah, it can be hard, but I even looking at your personal pages, looking at the people that engage with you. And like I said, at the top, when we first started talking, I had this gal reach out to me on social media that has to sell a house in Colorado. So how do I measure that, right? But I think throughout the year, if you think about the lead sources, right, we're tracking where leads are coming from. We can see how much business is coming in from Facebook if we're tracking it. All right, so sample trackers. So using the following trackers to track your social media. So what was the platform? Did I spend any money? What was my engagement rate? Did I make any connections? And did I generate any leads? And so real basic, you guys, but you could take this and put it into a Google Doc if you wanted to, or a spreadsheet, and just be super intentional about tracking the results. We advocate if you spend money on something that it should have a 3 times the return on investment. And so again, with, social media is definitely, Facebook is a cheap way to advertise compared to other methods like direct mail or different things out there. So here's a review, and then we'll have a little conversation about questions and comments and thoughts. So the goal of training is action, right? So I don't want you just to come here and listen to me talk, but go out and take action, challenge yourselves, go out and commit, do 30 days of posting, see how that changes your interaction with people. So understanding the value, right? Having consistency. And by the way, in real estate, consistency is the most important thing. And we see realtors in January, right? They're busy prospecting, they get some business in the spring, and then they stop prospecting because they're up here closing their deals. And then they come back down here and go, crap, I don't have any more leads. So let me prospect again. And so when we're consistent, we should see their steady growth, right? So that's what we want to see you guys have. So consistency, and then your effective social media strategy. Your thoughts matter, right? So if you're putting stuff out and you're just kind of, pardon French, half-assing it or thinking it doesn't work, then you're going to get those results, right? So challenge yourself to rewrite your thoughts and think about the positives and how social media can work to your advantage. Identify your target audience, right? So who are your people? Where are they at? And then understanding the different platforms and which ones really resonate with you. Twitter might be your thing, and that's okay, right? It's not my thing, but it could be yours. And if your people are there, great, be there. LinkedIn might be your thing, great, right? Same thing with TikTok and Snapchat. If those are your things and that's where your people are, go own them. Oh, hold on. I skipped a slide. Sorry. And so building your brand. So creating awareness and recognition so that people in your community can become familiar with you, right? And the services that you provide. And I think also educating people about the market. I think we need to stop talking about interest rates and just focus in on the opportunities that are out there. Cause there's almost, are we up to 20,000? It was like 19,000 something. And by the way, there were like an 8,900 pending the other day when I pulled it. So when people say our houses aren't selling, there are houses that are selling. So we just need to, keep our focus on that and being positive, right? There's, just a lot of really great things happening out there. Create the content. So have it be relevant, irresistible, irreplaceable, and then determine the cadence. So you guys have an example of that. And if you haven't been doing anything with social media on your business page or your personal page, use that. Right? Use what the class is providing for you. We don't have to overthink it, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then results are key. So we want to track everything, just like anything that we talk about in momentum is we want to track and make changes, right? If it's not working, we want to change it. Let me show you guys this thing I got yesterday. I have it open, and I'll email this to you guys too when we're done. But I thought this was really cool that Workman sent out. So it gives you, and they got it from this company, right? So they got it from somebody else. It just happened to get shared from the coaches. So Monday, right? Share, and let me zoom in on that. It's kind of hard to see. Share a picture of you when you were young, right? Have a throwback. Tell a story about a tough journey for you with one of your clients, right? Next, teach something. Share the love, right? And then showcase your pets. Pets, by the way, dogs especially really do well with social media. So favorite quote, right? So this just goes through the whole month and gives you ideas of what to post. So I love this. And I think you could just use this. No one's going to remember that every, 16th of the month you're putting a hobby out, right? They're not going to remember that. And in fact, sometimes people will learn to, they'll look for it, right? Like, Kyle, he's not on here, but Kyle's Kitchen. If any of you guys have watched Kyle's Kitchen videos, people look for that, right? And he gets fatigued from it, but his audience doesn't. And so when we have that, we want to be consistent because your audience is going to show up, Heather, and they're going to be looking for that content from you. So I'll send that out to you guys, but I thought it was a pretty cool tool for us to be using to help not have to overthink it, right? And to be able to create content. So thoughts, questions, comments? Who's going to take the 30-day challenge? Andrew is. Okay, love that. Awesome. And Andrew, you could be building up some hype about you being in real estate school, right? And getting people going and setting that up to tee yourself up, right? So as soon as you get your license, you've got some leads already in your hopper.
Yeah, thanks. I'm definitely I think I'm going to set up all these social media sites today and get them ready.
Awesome. Love it. Okay, Cindy.
I was in a class put on by Marie Camarano. Okay, last week. And one thing that she said is that really to be effective, you need to post for 60 days in a row.
Okay.
On your business page. That apparently is the new analytic or whatever that
And that was business page.
Okay. That it looks for as far as whatever it does internally. So just a thought.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good tip. I would say do it on your personal too, because a lot of us, I don't have that many people on my business page, right? And I even had hired someone to help me, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't working. I'm not going to keep paying you because I'm not getting the results that I want out of this. So, but that's a good share, Cindy. Thank you. Anything else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Your background, your wallpaper behind your head, it doesn't do that weird stuff like some of them do. Well, now it's doing a little bit. I'm sorry.
It does do it. So it just depends on, and I don't have my lights on either. So lighting helps. So if you have good lighting, it does help with the,
because
the Spock thing.
Right.
Yeah. If I move out of frame though, it'll do it. See, yeah, it's, if you have a green screen, the green screen helps. And I actually have one, but I put on my chair, but it's just weird. So I stopped using.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Yeah. All right. What else?
Where do we find those backgrounds? I've ran into them somewhere, but I don't remember where.
You know what? I think I just Googled this and it's just a picture that I grabbed off the internet.
Okay.
But if you go into, is it in Photofy? I think it's Photofy, Jan, that I saw it the other day. I think they have some Facebook backgrounds on Photofy that you can grab.
Okay.
But also it's upper right, those 3 dots in go to upper right of your frame. You can go and choose virtual backgrounds.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And you just upload the picture. So, all right. Any other thoughts or comments? Who's taking the 30-day challenge?
Roberta doesn't know it yet, but we are.
Okay. I love it. Okay. Jan, what was did you get any interaction from people on that? Like any comments, or do you feel like what you said, you were glad you did it? Why?
Yeah, well, what I realized was, like, when I would post something of like a family, people really like that. They love the dog ones that I would put up, because there's some really quick ones that you can just grab that have things about dogs and just tips on, like, how to help your dog when you've been through a move and helping them adjust or whatever. It had little tips, or if it has just a picture of a dog in front of a house. They love those. So it seemed like those were some of the bigger ones that people did comment on, but I felt like I got a good bit of traffic. Some days, I only have a few people, and then other days I might have 50 or 60 people that would, comment, or not comment, but like it.
So I would pay attention to those days, because that's the type of content that's getting the high engagement.
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and don't take it personal, if something doesn't get good engagement, that's okay. Just know that that wasn't the type of post that you needed to push out, right? Change it around so we do get the content. And you guys, homeownership transcends so many areas of our lives. I mean, pets, kids, just your overall sense of well-being, right? Your sense of purpose and your self-esteem. And so there's so many things that we can use, throughout our day to put out good content that connects with people. And that's really what it comes down to, is making that connection so that they reach out to you for real estate. So, so be positive, right? Be a champion of homeownership. And yeah, so what else? Are you guys seeing anything out there in the market as far as price reductions and trends, and any thoughts around that?
A lot of price reductions.
Yep. So I don't want to name the company, but there's a particular iBuyer company that I would be going after in MLS. If you guys have active buyers, I would be looking at those particular listings. They have some significant price reductions. They're also offering some incentives, and the days on market. I mean, they've been on the market. Some of them are 100+ days on the market. And so, those particular companies might be a little bit more willing to negotiate, right? So if you got a buyer that's looking, I would go in and look at those properties. It's also really interesting to see what they paid for them versus what they're on the market for. So just some trends there that I see, and of course paying attention to your new construction. Builders are it's the first time in probably, I think it was 30 years that I read, that new homes and resale homes are very similar in price. So it used to be about a 20% difference. So it's 20% more, Heather, to own a new home than it is today. And so now, coupled with the incentives that they're offering, they're offering cash. There's, I was talking to somebody the other day, so it was like $30,000, $40,000 in different incentives that are floating around out there. So, and they have a product to move, and they don't want to take a beating on Wall Street. So they're willing to negotiate. And here's the thing too. Offer a lower price. If you see a spec that's been sitting on the market 80, 90 days, offer the builder a price. We all think that just because the builder says that this is the base price, that's what they'll take. I had a deal, of course, this was back when the market was in 2007 or 8. We offered $100,000 less than what the builder was offering on a spec home, and they took it. So, and I thought my client was a little crazy. I was like, that's a little aggressive, but they took it, you guys. And so just be mindful of that just because the builder has it listed at that price doesn't mean they're going to say yes. But if you've got a buyer that's on the fence about that, why not even just float that idea out there and just see if what's the opportunity, right? Because you never know, they might say yes. And then how does that make you look to your buyer?
So do you happen to know if I know you know my story, that like in March 2021, I got this house, happened to be for my sister-in-law, supposed to be done by September 2021. And we were supposed to close it on the 7th of September this year. And it's now gone out to the 14th of September. So it was, 18 months of craziness. So do you happen to have a high view on, have they fixed most of the, supply chain issues?
I'm hearing that windows and doors are still a holdup on things. And so I probably, when I'm talking about new construction center, I'm talking about spec homes that are in the MLS that the builder has put out there.
They're already complete, yeah.
They're either already done or near completion, because those are the properties that when the rates went up, the buyer that was under contract with that house, they bailed because they couldn't afford it, right? And then some of the builders actually punted when, because cost of lumber went up 30% during COVID, right? And then all the backlog on things. And so the builders actually, and some of you might remember this, but Pulte in a community in Surprise actually sent a letter out, because Pulte came out and said, we have supplies, no waits, right? No lotteries. And then they sold a whole bunch of product, right? And they couldn't keep up with it. So they realized that based on the pricing that they had, they were losing their shirts. So they wrote a letter to everyone who was under contract and said, we'll let you out. If you'll cancel, we'll give you your earnest money, because they knew that they were going to lose money on those deals. And so some of the builders actually started going, okay, we're not going to set pricing until we have lumber, we have concrete. And they actually started like, this spec's going on this lot. Once it gets to this point in construction, now we'll release it. The buyer can then pick their internal, cabinets, flooring, that type of stuff. So that was one way that the builders pivoted to try to not lose as much money. So, so yeah, I had one Sandra that took 16 months on a Taylor Morris, and it was the last bit of it was just a really rocky transition. So rocky closing. So yeah, I would focus in on the spec inventory is what I'm talking about specifically.
Yeah, so you'd find them by just looking for houses that are built in 2022 or 2021.
Yep.
In the MLS. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Probably 2022.
Yeah.
And you could search by builder too, I think. Can't you in MLS? Maybe. Yeah. I would think that'd be a searchable field. So, and just get out, right? Get out and boots on the ground, go look at the model homes. You know, when you're driving around, if you see the flags, go check it out. There's a ton happening off of 163rd and Grant. I mean, that whole area right there between Desert Oasis and Asante. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff out there. So I would definitely take a peek, go check them out, right? See what the trends are. And it's always fun to look at model homes anyway. So, all right, that being said, that's a wrap for today. We're gonna start video content next week. And then Thursday's the office meeting. So Nate put together a little panel of people to talk to you guys about what they're seeing as far as trends and cancellations and inspections, all that. Plus, we're gonna roll out the final numbers for the month of miracles, which is super exciting. And yeah, so we got that on Thursday at We Serve. And there's they're gonna do the mastermind directly after, and that will not be on video. So if you want to hang out and be in person, that's a really great 45 minutes. They say 30, but it's always longer than 30 minutes. So it's just a great opportunity to come connect and mastermind with your peers. So that being said,
everybody's welcome to that, and they don't have to be a RE/MAX employee.
Yes. Yeah. Andrew, if you want to come check it out, that would be, you're welcome to join us. So 8:45 for breakfast and networking, and then we'll get started at 9 o'clock. So if you guys need anything, reach out. I will send you this social media calendar as well. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.